match, he might have been told, like, oh, if anything goes wrong, it's on your shoulders. I can imagine that being said. But, I don't think that would be WWE's plan A at all, because the only thing about Randy is he's a safe bet, because, you can rely on him, and he will be an acceptable draw at Mania. He's main evented many, so it wouldn't be anything new, but I would definitely choose someone else personally.
We spoke about The Undertaker, Matt. If you was to look at, say, let's just take the three of the guys out here: Bill Goldberg, Undertaker, Braun Strowman. Out of those three, Matt, who is the most that you pick out of those three guys?
Oh, it's difficult, but out of them three, I'd have to say, as much as I don't really want this to happen, I would say Undertaker is the logical choice, because he doesn't need to win it. He doesn't need that to go into WrestleMania. He can just ask for any match with anybody at WrestleMania, and it'll be granted to him just because of his status at WrestleMania. I think it would probably likely be him, because they can take that and then say he's going to fight the champion or whatever, make it one of his last big high profile matches. But personally, I would like to see someone win it for the first time ever.
Yeah, and you see, I'm with you there with The Undertaker, by the way, but you see, Braun Strowman, although he's been sort of tipped as favourite for a long time, it still would be a big deal, Matt, wouldn't it? If he wins this, it's still a big deal for me. It's like, it doesn't matter that he's been favourite all the way up to it by a lot of people. For me, it would still be a big deal if WWE said, this is our guy, we're going to stick with this, and we're going with him heading into it, like a heel winning first and foremost, and then going on like that. That would be a big call for WWE to do that. So I would be for that. I wouldn't be too disappointed if that happened. I'd be almost happy in a way that WWE finally are going to take a little bit of a risk in something else and stop trying to hide behind, like Matt was saying earlier, the Randy Ortons, the Triple H of last year, and all the rest of it. Let's try and get someone else feet. Beyond that, Matt, Finn Balor, we spoke about him. Yeah, again, I'm a little bit worried if he was to come back and just win it. What's the chances, do you think, of Samoa Joe debuting, Matt, and not only debuting, but actually winning it? Slim to none, do you think?
Yeah, pretty slim, I'd say. I'd say the Rumble was a good place for him to get the call up, come in, make a name for himself by eliminating a high-profile person, whoever it be.
Now, Chris Jericho, obviously, people might say, well, it makes sense for Jericho to win. He's never won it. He's just won the first US title. He's never won it, yada, yada, yada. And then you put him up against, of course, Kevin Owens, makes perfect sense. But to me, that would be almost too perfect, Matt, if that happened. How much of the Royal Rumble show would be the Kevin and Chris show, the whole thing, wouldn't it, really? So I don't see that happening, even though Jericho has been near the top tier of favourites, he's been spoken about because of the relationship going on TV with Owens. What about, how does that go for you then, Matt? Because would you see him, the thing with me is I look at it at the moment and I'm kind of saying to myself, I don't know if he would be the guy.
Yeah, well, I would say, he would have had a chance with his recent US title win. I think it would be a case, if he won now, it'd be ticking off the box of the thing to do before he retires. And it's one of the few things that he hasn't done, but I don't really reckon he needs to do this. The US title was good for him to have right now, and this must be overkilling it for him to win this. And, to go on and sort of main event WrestleMania, and I'm not too sure what kind of timescale this guy's working on, and I know he's got future projects coming up that he's going to be committed to, so I'm not too sure they should rely too heavily on Jericho at this stage in his career.
Sure, yeah, I'm with you there. Now again, going beyond that, obviously Seth Rollins, really out of the equation of
now this guy.
Has that totally gone, Matt? That he's not going to, at least he will not be pushed that fast now. Whereas, when he first came up, we was all thinking blimey, this is a bit too quick. Is that sort of, something's happened there, hasn't it, where the WWE are maybe not penciling him in like they were with Roman Reigns at one time. But is there a chance, do you think, Matt, at all, that this guy's going to get a good outing just because of his size and the idea that always normally the big guys do well in the Rumbles?
Yeah, I think he will have a good outing in there, and I think he will make a fair amount of eliminations to get his name across. I just, don't see him winning it at all. But yeah, he'll go out there and put on a good show, no doubt.
Yeah, with you there. And of course, we should always talk about last year's winner, Triple H, Matt. There's probably a possibility of seeing him, a high chance, I would imagine, because of the Seth Rollins thing. Do you think that is on the cards, that Triple H will be involved in this?
It's their last chance to sort of get this feud up and running. If it doesn't happen at the Royal Rumble, then I am really worried about the direction that Seth Rollins is taking. And just the fact that there's so many missed opportunities. Like, we saw this tweet a while ago from Triple H saying he was going to be on Raw, and then Seth didn't take the opportunity to call him out. Things like that could have kicked off the feud, just hasn't. And I would be worried, in fact, now, even if Triple H does show up, and if he does eliminate Seth Rollins, I'd be like, well, why? You haven't felt the need to get involved before this? Why now? So many questions. I hope they answer them at the Royal Rumble, and I hope they do it to a decent level, because if not, this is going to be a real stinker of a feud.
Yeah. Dean Ambrose, Matt, we haven't spoken about him that much. Was one of the most biggest underdogs for a while. Any chance of him, or has he had his time now because he's already won the belt?
Well, like I was saying before, like a few weeks ago, I was saying that I was hoping Dean Ambrose might be given a chance, because it does help someone like him to get your first kind of Rumble win when, he has been at the top level, but just hadn't had that thing to push him over the edge to take him to the very, very top. Even though he's been champion, he still hasn't been given full confidence by the WWE teams. So that would have been nice. But now they're giving him the Intercontinental title, I'm kind of feeling like that's the level they're seeing him at, and that's the plan they have for him for the foreseeable future, which is a bit unfortunate. I would have preferred it to be a little bit more open coming up to the Royal Rumble. I would have preferred the title not to be on him. Then there would have been a little bit more sort of unexpectedness about his entrance, entrance into the Rumble and how far he will go. It just feels like he's limited now by the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, with you there. Overall, I think we've pretty much gone through everybody. So, Matt, we've got to pick. Let's go with our top two, because there are a lot of competitors in this. Who are your top two for this Royal Rumble? Your predictions that are going to go, and your winners for this one. Let's have one.
This is a really difficult one, isn't it? This year, I mean, this is a good thing though, because usually we've got it down to the top two, and we're like, oh, it's going to be this guy, or usually just Roman Reigns, which is a good thing that it isn't him now. So I guess with that in mind, I will say my most likely candidate to win is probably The Undertaker. As much as great as I respect the guy, is not the one I want to see win. And then, unfortunately, again, I have to go with someone, which is, a guy I would like to see win it, but not under these circumstances, is Finn Balor.
Right, yeah. Well, I'm going to say The Undertaker, and I'm going to go Braun Strowman as my top two pick. And again, it's very open this year. Although those two have been favourite for a long time, since this has all come on, people have been talking about, doesn't necessarily mean that they're the favourites for sure, because there's so many other avenues to go with this. So it is very open, which is a good thing. And I do think, you never know. I mean, it would be. I'd love it, Matt, if we get on tomorrow's show, we're reviewing it and we're seeing something like we really didn't expect, or it was one of the favourites, but the way they'd done it was just in such a way we still didn't see it coming. We got sucked up in the moment. I would like to see that. So even if it is Braun Strowman, but it's done in a way where you just think, there's no way he can do it, but then all of a sudden he does. You never know. It could come down to him and The Undertaker, and what a massive push that would be. If he was to get the rub off the Taker in the Rumble match, and if you go down to those two, it really does you sort of think to yourself, hang on a minute, what way are they going to go? And so there's that still, an unexpected kind of thing. So, Yeah, hopefully it's going to work out well, for sure. Now, folks, coming up when Matt leaves us for a while, we're going to go through, we're going to look at the odds and where that's at the moment. Because I know everyone likes to email, especially if you're in the US, you don't always get to see it. So we give a little bit of tips on some odds and see where the markets are going there. So we'll be talking about that after. Matt, thank you as always for coming on our preview show, obviously, and we're going to be back tomorrow together, and hopefully, Matt, we're going to be giving some 5 stars out somewhere. Do you think there's likelihood of that, a 5-star match involved in this?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be one somewhere along the lines. You know, I'm looking to people like Neville, you know, but we will see, and I'm looking forward to talking about whoever this winner may be. Much anticipated. Yeah,
with you there. Let's hope something really good happens later. So yeah, we'll say goodbye to Matt. When we come back close